Welcome back, ladies and gents. Allincrypto here, and today we are going to be delivering another jam-packed daily market update. If you are new around here and finding yourself on my channel for the first time today, don't forget to check out that subscribe button because we drop an update just like this one every single day to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space, but also the broader markets. And we will be talking about the broader markets towards the end of the video. Obviously, this week on Wednesday, we have the Fed rate decision. We'll look at what's expected to be the moves they make there. And we'll maybe cross over to the Dixie, the dollar and its strength. And I have a broader thesis on the dollar that actually supports technically what we're looking at with the cryptocurrency space. And that is what Julian Bittle is talking about, which is a repeat of what happened with the dollar in 2016, really 17, January 17th. The dollar embarked on a downward trajectory due to influence from Trump in an effort to restore or to increase economic activity. Certainly exports and things like that. And I think a similar scenario is playing out today. And certainly technically that's plausible. And that's going to be a great macro backdrop that sees everything that we're looking at technically for the cryptocurrency space. And we'll be going over a little bit of what we looked at yesterday because the total market caps are in a critical position. They've just run into all-time highs. They're pulling back slightly, very common before they sort of make that next leg up. So we'll cover some sort of macro stuff towards the end of the video. There's been a lot of news that's broke over the past 24 hours. We've been keeping you up to date with it on Twitter. Musk exploring blockchain use in US government efficiency efforts. Conversation said to be held with multiple public blockchains. The technology may be used to track government spending. Elon Musk at Doge is exploring blockchain use cases to help with US government efficiency, which is what he's there for. In talks with public blockchains, which may be used to track government spending. There wasn't many articles on this one from the Crypto Times. It talks about a number of things. Talks about some of the issues in regards to using a public distributed ledger. So we don't know exactly what's going on with this. This is just very much hot off the press. But actually, if you want to keep somebody or an organization accountable, putting their transactions on a blockchain is an unbelievably perfect way to do that. And actually, Chainlink, rather interestingly, in a blog, and Chainlink, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is one of my largest crypto holdings for a reason. It's a juggernaut. It's going to be like a standard protocol that's going to enable this internet of value in the same way we have standard protocols that enable the internet of information, which is what we're currently communicating on. So don't sleep on Chainlink. But they say in this blog post, the next stage will be government adoption of blockchains. This is going to be the next and final stage of blockchain adoption, which the Chainlink community is now in the process of setting up in 2025. So they could use something like Chainlink for this. They could use some of the layer ones out there, something like HBAR or something, to sort of run transactions through. We know we're on the cusp of crypto-enabled digital money, guys, and we've got a great video on that for you to come out later on today, certainly related to XRP, which has taken a lot of flack. The maxi pads out there really are just so upset with the fact that people understand there's a broader application for a distributed ledger than Bitcoin. And we're seeing a lot of maxis, and this was always the eventuality of that community, is that they would eat each other alive because they don't actually, you need a solid foundation to stand on. Saying that Bitcoin is the only distributed ledger and believing in the Satoshi story and narrative, even though the opposite is happening today, that can only but result in a kind of mutiny and a fractioned faction, being the Bitcoin maxis, that we're currently seeing. But we are on the cusp of digital money, guys. I remind people that X money is about to break the internet. X payments could drop any second. Elon Musk has been working with this. There is information or potential leaks that XLM is going to be involved in this. Jeb McCaleb and Elon Musk, of course, are investors in space companies together. And I think that's XLM and XLP. The difference really is XLM is more for kind of retail, XRP is more for institution. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like this. This is going to be a huge fundamental sort of story that drops. And on the topic of XRP, this was posted by Good Morning Crypto. He's a good guy to follow, by the way. David Sachs, the crypto czar, is now following Bank XRP, which is very interesting. He's also following the case very closely. There's a lot going on here, guys, that you need to stay up to date with. You need to be positioning those opportunities. I own XRP, I own XLM, I own a lot of cryptos out there. Chainlink, we're in all of the big ones. If you look at our portfolio, and you guys can unlock that and partake in it when you become a Patreon. If you look at our portfolio, the biggest winners really we've got certainly the US cryptos that were all technically signaled. So a lot of interesting things going on. We'll talk about price action a little bit before we dive into the week that we have ahead of us, because it's going to be an interesting one. And the main focus of the week ahead of us for me is, of course, the dollar. Because the dollar is going to be a macro driver to everything. Weak dollar is typically good for markets. And we're setting up, as Julian Bittle rightly points out, in a 2017 fashion, which could see the dollar, and also technically there's reasons to expect the dollar to roll, and ultimately that's going to support the markets. Did a Patreon meeting, I think, on Wednesday, where we spoke about a potential dollar scenario, which is interesting. But what we were highlighting yesterday was the critical nature of the total cryptocurrency market, excluding Bitcoin. The total market cap, including Bitcoin, has broken out into all-time highs, and it's just consolidating there. And we showed you examples yesterday. But what we're looking at here is how markets break out. And you can see at an all-time high, using the S&P 500 as an example, but we could show you many, it's very common that you pull back. That ultimately sets you up for continuation, and we have technical patterns to suggest getting there. Just like we had with the S&P, for example. The S&P was just to show you this, a chart of that we got very, very right, and we're calling for the same thing for total, and it's kind of at a critical conjunction or a critical junction now where actually it's at all-time highs. That break is going to usher in a kind of S&P 500 like rally, or perhaps an Nvidia style rally. You can see when you take this high, you go on a broad uptrend. Amazon is also progressing, all-time highs, pull back. Remember, Amazon, we're very close to that target that we gave you all the way when we were at 120. Also, Tesla doubled for us. I know many people on that trade with us. The markets look great. And actually, to just talk about what might be a bit of a macro driver, have I got the Dixie on here? Yes, I do. I think the dollar's at a 2017 point where it's actually going to start to roll over, just like what it did the last time Trump got elected. You can see we're already starting that. Potential short-term inverse head and shoulders. Why is this relevant to crypto? Well, when you're looking at crypto, you're looking at it against the US dollar. So a weak dollar is going to support assets generally. And I think this is now on a down leg. I think also we can talk about Bitcoin dominance. We can go all over the place with it. I don't want to go too much into this and fundamentally what might drive it, but of course rates that have been zealously forecast out of the market with everything Powell has said going into Trump's election. But the Fed is set to make a rate decision, and they're expected to hold rates where they are this week. You've got the ECB also, they're expected to cut. You've got the Bank of Canada, they're also expected to cut. It was nice to see the Canadian dollar rise on the back end of Trudeau. Good riddance, in my opinion. I think he's done more damage than he has good. I don't know why people have such an issue with being proud of the nation that you come from and wanting that nation to do well, and not adhering to this globalist ideology, which, I mean, it's like when Keir Starmer was asked Westminster or World Economic Forum, Davos. He said Davos, because all about this global inclusion. I don't think that's what the British people want. I think British people want Britain for Britain. That doesn't mean anything to do with anybody else in terms of, looking down or anything like that, or thinking we're holier than thou. But you want a government of a country to be for that country, not a globalist BS agenda. But we've got a Fed rate decision. The probabilities are that they're not going to lower rates. We'll see. Now Trump's in office. He's certainly said a lot. Again, that could see that 2017 scenario playing out for the dollar, which would be a great kind of macro win to put in the crypto space's sail, which, of course, we know is all technically signaled. So this week is going to be interesting. I think Bitcoin's actually coiling up. We haven't actually spoken about Bitcoin, have we? Which we'll do very quickly. Bitcoin's very much just coiling up. It's been sort of stuck in this kind of range. This is a bit of a squeeze that's going to lead to a pop and a breaking of the range and continuation in the space. If you look at something like XRP, this is just coiling up. This has just been a concession of continuation. Pennants, lightly setting up in the same fashion. You've got coins like HBAR. This is getting ready to rock and roll. I think it's going to be a great week that we've got ahead of us. And you've got to be in it to win it. Don't listen to the ding-dongs out there trying to fearmonger you out the market. there's so much. We're living through a reset right now in terms of financially and fiscally and monetarily, and whichever way you want to look at it. And there's major opportunities in that. It's kind of once in a lifetime that you get to go through an entire financial overhaul. And for the first time ever, we can partake in that before the kind of Wall Street and the masses can, which is coming. So that's it from me, guys. I'm going to love and leave you, as always, on that note. Interesting news coming out of Elon Musk potentially working with public blockchains. Charles Hoskinson in a stream yesterday said he'd rang, or Trump had rang him and he spoke to him. You've got X payments, which is something that's going to be coming this year. You've got the likes of David Sachs following XRP accounts, which I just thought was interesting. And you've got a great technical story in regards to the crypto space, in regards to potentially a scenario for the dollar. It all aligns. It gives us confluence when it walketh, talketh, quacketh like a duck. Guys, it's a duck. I'll see you all in the next one.